Hey everyone, this is Patrick and it's time for another edition of Heavy Therapy. This is the Metal Tag 2023. I planned on recording this earlier than now. I actually am recording this into 2023 already. But yeah, I want to participate in this Rock Scout Metal Tag adventure that he's been giving all of us so gracelessly and gracefully over the last few years. So let's do this. Before I get into these 20 questions that the Rock Scout gave to all of us, let me show you what we are playing right now, what we are listening to. This is Morbific, Ominous Seep of Putridity, out in 2021. The boys are from Finland. It's a three-piece. They put out another awesome album last year called Squirm Beyond the Mortal Realm. So yeah, Finnish death metal, perfection basically. So the first question is, what was a false start album or an album that you struggled with at first but grew to like? And this pops right in my mind. Atrabilis with Apex Apian came out in 2021. This is technical death metal, which I'm always quite picky about, and didn't like it after one listen. It's short enough that I gave it another listen, didn't like it very much still, and I was like, okay. Big fan of 20 Buck Spin. I like almost everything on 20 Buck Spin. But not this. And then Liam from the Death Doom Metalhead showed this vinyl, and then he said it sounded better on vinyl than tape. I think he had it on tape as well. And I was just kind of, memories popped in my head about what I liked and didn't like from this album. I gave it another listen, and it immediately clicked on me. Love the vocals, love the music. They don't sound like too many bands right now. Very cleanly produced technical death metal. Looking forward to their next release. False start album for me, this one. It took 4 or 5 listens for me to finally get this. Atrabilis, Apex, Apian. Album with a war theme. I went with Departure Chandelier's Antichrist Rise to Power. They played Napoleonic War black metal. The Napoleonic Wars lasted from 1802 to 1815. Napoleon takes power 1799 and invades Europe, including Russia. There were 7 wars in that 12-13 year period. They're called the Napoleonic Wars. So yeah, absolutely war theme right here. Departure Chandelier with some Napoleonic War black metal, self-described. The Antichrist Rise to Power. Napoleon was considered an antichrist by certain public intellectuals, certain thinkers of the time that led up to Napoleon. So they seemed like they were being, their prognostications came true. Most influential metal musician to me, for me, over the last 10 years. I don't play music, I only listen to music. But I'm always impressed by musicians who have multiple projects that I end up liking a whole lot. So I am thinking of Shelby Lermo. So he plays guitars in Vastum, guitars and vocals in Ultar. He has another project. This is called Human Corpse Abuse. The album is called Xenoviscerum, came out last year. Power violence, death grind, grindcore. And on this, Shelby, does guitar, bass, and vocals, and the drummer Adam Jarvis of Pig Destroyer and Misery Index rounds out the 2-piece here. So Shelby has amazing projects. Altar, give me a break. One of the best extreme music outfits today. Vastum, another one of my favorites. So Shelby, gotta be a big influence for me as far as taste goes. Band on my 2C list. I am excited to report that I get to see this band pretty soon with Blood Incantation and Obituary. This is Immolation. And Bob and Ross vocal guitarist duo. Probably my favorite living death metal duo right there. Bob's probably my favorite living death metal guitarist, so I can't wait. I can't wait to see Immolation live. They're not getting any younger. I'm not getting any younger. It'd be really nice to see them, and I get to see them quite soon, so stoked on that. An album that energizes you. I always think of this album. They're hardcore, metalcore, mostly hardcore, and this is the metal tag, but they play thrash riffs. This is metal adjacent for me. Every Time I Die's album called X Lives came out in 2012. Track 1, Underwater Bimbos from Outer Space. It does something to me that almost no other band does. This band, that song, Every Time I Die. This album energizes me. Big Freeze album. In other words, Show Us Snow or Ice album. So, there's a few good choices going around I've seen. My entry is Fua with Roman numeral 2. Well, this is ice-capped mountains, snow-covered rolling hills, a metaphor of a frozen cold heart as well. But yeah, icy cold, Big Freeze right here. This looks absolutely chilling, absolutely freezing and cold. 2021 album here on Season of Mist. Fua 2 is the name of the album. Question 7, a song title with royal ties. I went with Celotus, and their album is called No King Reigns Eternal. And yeah, royalty, empires, dynasties, regimes. Some of these people's biographies, some of these people's public statements, these kings, these emperors, these crown princes, right? Queens. They think they're infallible. They think they're immortal, but they're not, because no king reigns eternal. Just remember that. Number 8 is a predominantly green album cover. What could be more metal than this right here? Common Bird Songs. Oh, wait. Wrong album. Green album cover. Obviously, right here. This is extremely green. One of the most green album covers I own. This is a cool 4-way split with cosmic death metal bands, Cryptic Shift, Replicant, Inoculation, and Astral Tomb. Very green, very beautiful aesthetic. This art is by Bruce Pennington. It's called Man in the Maze, and it is a predominantly green album cover. Maybe influenced by bird songs. Who knows? The next question is 2021 album that I bought but have not listened to in 2022. I'm going with Body Void's Bury Me Beneath This Rotting Earth. I've never listened to the CD. Once I got it in, I've never listened to it. And one reason is, well, lots of music to listen to, of course. Another one, this is one of the heaviest albums of 2021. 4 songs. I don't know exactly how long it is, maybe 40 minutes. Not super long, but not super short either. but I think just this style I gotta be in the mood for. You know, it's sludgy doom, almost funereal in its speed. Body Void. Haven't listened to this since I bought it. Band discovered in 2022. Well, I discovered Pharmacist in 2022. This is Pharmacist 2022 album, Flourishing Extremities on Unspoiled Mental Grounds. And Pharmacist is a one-piece death grind outfit, Carcass worship, and it rules. It has a drum machine on this that, yeah, it sounds like a drum machine once you realize it is one. It sounds too perfect, but it's really creative drum machine. And yeah, the riffs, the song composition, the guitar solos, the lead work, too good to pass up, even though I'm not a big fan of drum machines. Pharmacist, one of my favorite discoveries in 2022. Best find of 2022, old or new. So I stuck with an album that I actually found in a store. I was visiting my partner's relatives in Philadelphia, and we went to a record store in the mall. I forgot what it's called. Forgot what the record store was called. I found this in the used bin. This is Carcass with their demo, Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment. And yeah, really cool to find. I didn't even know this was released on vinyl. It says it's out on Surgery Records. I think it's not official, but I don't know what I mean. I want to call it a bootleg, but I don't think it's exactly a bootleg, but it might be. If you know, tell me in the comments. Awesome find, Carcass. This sounds like a demo, but it's still listenable. And this is one of the progenitors here of Gore Grind, so put some respect on Carcass's rotting neck. An album sold to you by a song. This took me a little bit because I don't really listen to songs. I listen to albums. There's plenty of songs I've heard on albums that are fantastic, but I never go back to them if I don't go back to the album. I don't make playlists of songs. I like albums. But when Ripped to Shreds last year put out their first single from this album, called Reek of Burning Freedom, I believe. Yeah, that song was immediately my favorite death metal song of the year. It holds up as one of my favorite death metal songs of the year. So I pre-ordered Ripped to Shreds' Jubian album based on that song alone. And yeah, so that counts. That counts for me. Most anticipated album of 2023. There's a whole list of albums that I'm excited about. A couple of them already came out. I'm looking forward to the new Necrot. But I gotta go with Twomode. I don't even know if they're gonna have an album out, but they put out a demo last year called Aperture of Body. Twomode. One of the best modern cosmic death metal bands. Old school death metal meets modern flourishes. So if there's a Twomode album this year, I would call that probably my most anticipated album of 2023. Okay. We are making good time here. The next question is my 23rd album on your shelf. This was Atramentus Stygian, Funeral Doom. Phil Tugas is on here. Yeah, really good Funeral Doom. I probably play this once or twice a year, get my fix of it. Great. Neoclassical, fantastic guitar work. Really cool concept in theory and execution. Last album that has gone into collection. This is Tribal Gaze with the 9 choirs. HM2 and Tomb style death metal with some hardcore influences out on Maggot Stomp. There's the boys. Took me a couple listens to get into this, actually. Worth owning on CD. Need to listen to it again very soon because, this grew on me after a while. A random pull from your collection. So what's funny is when I chose a random item from my Discogs, Departure Chandelier came up, and I was not going to show that twice. And I didn't want to change my War Theme album, so I did it again. This is Omega Vortex and Pius Levis. Their split that came out last year. Pius Levis, thrashy, speedy, speed metal, thrash metal, blackened type outfit from Texas. Omega Vortex from Germany. They play this chaotic, dissonant death metal. This is their split from 2022, and this was my random pull from my collection. Next question, a band or artist you discovered through social media. All kinds of bands, but I don't think if it was for, people who I really respect pushing this a lot. Marty, probably Brain Smasher, other people pushing this album. The Chachwan, Kanawa Black, amazing neo-folk, neo-classical black metal band and album from last year. Thanks to social media, thanks to Metal YouTube, Metal Instagram, and Metal Twitter, that is in my collection. Where do I see my collection progressing in the next 5 years? I don't know. 5 years is a long time. I plan on buying and collecting and archiving as much as I want to over the next 5 years. I've already downsized. I wouldn't call it downsized. I'm not afraid to trade albums, to buy them and give them a chance, but not let them sit on my shelf if I know I don't really like it very much. I'm not going to be a completist. I'm not collecting full discographies. So, yeah, I'm going to keep on keeping on for the next 5 years is my prediction. And, not much is going to change, I don't think. But who knows, 5 years is a long time. A new release you didn't buy this year based on price alone. Probably the new Imperial Triumphant. I believe that's on Century Media. Maybe it's on Nuclear Blast. Both of those labels have extremely expensive vinyl. I haven't seen it in any stores. If I saw it in the store, I probably would have bought it, but I just wasn't going to buy it online at $39 or $35.99 or whatever it was. It's worth it. One of my favorite albums of last year. I'll eventually pick it up, regardless of price, to be honest. But that came to the top of my mind. And finally, a song that doesn't belong, or a song that lets an album down. This album right here by Autocrater is called Persecution. I bought this as a recommendation from Meteor Gym when I went there in person. I had my albums I was gonna buy. I placed it on the counter and I said, "Hey, based on my I had 9 albums. At 10, you get another discount." So I said, based on my taste here that you see, what do you think that I might like in your shop to make my stack of 9 a stack of 10? He chose Feculent, which I already have on CD, but great choice. He was right about my taste. And then he chose Autocrater and Persecution. Love this album. He was right. But the last song here, Apocalipsis, track 6, I believe, is a spoken word album, a spoken word song, basically. And spoken word, I'm picky about it. Sometimes works, but not usually. And I didn't really like that this album that I loved so much ends with with a spoken word track. That's 3 or 4 minutes. And I get it. But yeah, it kind of lets this album down a lot. This album is really, really good. That song I'm not a big fan of. and 20 minutes, 20 questions answered. This has been the Metal Heavy Therapies answers to the Metal Tag 2023. Like, comment, and subscribe if you desire. I enjoy talking to you all. You are all rad, and you kick ass very much, and thanks for all the interaction. I will give shout outs soon to my favorite commenters. Sorry I haven't done so yet. Ben and G comes to mind as far as a commenter who I don't know if they have videos or not, but they comment a lot. Appreciate it. And yeah, later. Bye.